Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the Mount Union Area School District Board of Directors to order. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Dee.
Mrs. McClure.
Here.
Mr. Weitzel.
Here.
Mr. Earhart. Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Kreitzer.
Here.
Mrs. Jackson.
Here.
Mr. Martinez.
Here.
Mrs. Myers.
Here.
Mrs. Shields.
Here.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 19th board meeting? All in favor? Opposed? For your information, the Mount Union Area Board of Education held an executive session prior to the start of this evening's meeting. And our solicitor, Mr. Knapp, would like to make a comment.
Yes, we had a executive session with myself and the board before the meeting this evening to discuss the issue of the superintendent's evaluation. There was some questions raised about the documentation and format used of the evaluation that was reported during the June meeting, June 17th meeting to the public. I raised some concerns about some of the format. Got together with the board, emailed the board. They supplied me with other documentation. I had the opportunity to speak to them this evening before the meeting started. And Dr. Smith and her counsel and Mrs. McClure and myself are going to get together and discuss the result of the now complete documentation. And once that's done here in pretty short order, the results of that evaluation and the goals and so forth will be posted on the website in accordance with the school code, so that the public will get the answers that they want. At the same time, Dr. Smith went through the due process she's intended to receive under the terms of the school code, and the board is protected because they've done everything in compliance with the law. So thank you for your patience. I know Mr. Smith, you raised the question. I wanted to make sure to address those questions because, as I said, it's a valid question. But we want to make sure that we only do it once, and sometimes it takes longer to do it right. And that's why I insist on taking time to do it. Thanks.
Moving on, the minutes from the safety committee meetings for June 13th, July 11th, and August 19th have been presented to the board. No action required. The Mount Union Board of Education did not hold any board committee meetings during the month of August or September. Could I have a motion to approve the treasurer's reports for June and July?
Motion.
Second? Do I hear a second? All in favor? Opposed? Approval of the bills for payment for September 2024 for the general, the cafeteria, and the activities fund is presented. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I hear a second? Any comments or questions? Dee, I have one question. I saw numerous checks that were written for the emergency certification. Have those all been submitted? Do you know?
Yes. And we have one for this evening that we're hiring, needs to be submitted and long term, so yeah. But the others have all been submitted. They were submitted before the end of August.
All right. Thank you, Dee. All in favor? Opposed? Could I have a motion for the approval of the district office petty cash report for September the 9th? Second,
Second.
all in favor? Opposed? Now we'll move on to public comments. If anyone has a comment they would like to make, you are limited to 5 minutes. Please state your name and your address and the agenda item you would like to comment on. No one? All right, moving forward. There were no items for the Tuscarora Intermediate Unit. Could I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the August 13th meeting of the Huntingdon County Career and Technology Center?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Approval to enter into the minutes of the meeting, the signed final contract between the Mount Union Area Education Association and the Mount Union Area Board of Education for a 3-year period effective August 31, 2024 through August 30th, 2027 is ratified by the union on August 19th, 2024 and approved by the board on August 19th.
Motion.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Opposed? Approval to enter into the minutes of the meeting. The signed final contract between the Mount Union Area Educational Support Professionals Association and the Mount Union Area Board of Education for a 2-year period effective August 24th, 2024 through August 23rd, 2026 is ratified by the union and approved by the board on July 15th, 2024. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Moving on, transportation, we will take 9.1 through 9.3 for additional drivers and transportation contractors' pay rates. Could I have a motion?
Move.
Do I have a second? Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Approval of the consent vote agenda items as presented from the consent vote. Items 10.1 through 16.7. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Everyone take a moment and look over them. Any questions or comments on any of them? Okay, All in favor?
I,
Oh, sorry, Kristen.
so 15.1. It's the field trip to, let's see, Happy Jack trips. I have a question on the national convention trip. Is there an agenda for that? Do we know what, sessions will be attending and what we'll be doing?
Macy has not turned in one to us. Did you get one, Dee?
I didn't do it for that. Just curious if they're actually gonna attend any sessions this year. 'Cause last year they only went to the award ceremony and didn't attend any of the sessions at the national convention, so. They should probably attend some of the education sessions.
Yeah, we'll check into that.
Anyone else? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, moving forward, the general will take 17.1 through 17.7. Do I hear a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Personnel request from Mrs. Casey Martin for the Mount Union Area School District to accept 43.5 days of accumulated unused sick leave days from the Phillipsburg Osceola Area School District, with the understanding for retirement purposes, Mrs. Martin shall be given credit for 25 days carried forward and additional days accumulated while employed by the Mount Union Area School District. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Conferences will take 19.1 through 19.4. Could I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Sorry. All right, we are at the point in the meeting for any public comments. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address. Anyone have any comments?
Hi, Riley Benson, 46 Mount Hope Road. During the August board meeting, the statement was made that all teacher positions were filled for the 24-25 school year. While this is true for the current school year, that does not overrule the fact that we are down teachers in almost every department of the school. During the 2019-2020 school year, there were 5 math teachers. This year, there's a total of 2.5. The math department has been cut in half in the span of 5 years, which limits the opportunity we provide our students. This year, we had the impression that we were able to take calculus and pre-calculus, but we learned that when we came back to school, the classes had been cut from the program. Their solution was to send us online. I, along with a few others, chose to drop the class, and 2 decided to try online. More than half the 11th grade class is online for science. This doesn't just affect this year's classes. We will have to be, Next year's students will have more classes that will have to be dropped because they do not have the science and math backgrounds they need in order to complete these classes at an efficient and effective rate. Online and charter school is a major problem that has to be dealt with, but there is no incentive for those students to come back to Public School when they are being told that they have to take their core classes online because we cannot provide a teacher.
I'm India James. Oh, hi, I'm India James. At 21 West Market Street, Mount Union. I completely agree with Riley. Students cannot effectively learn behind a screen. Some things need to be taught with a teacher and a whiteboard in front of you, especially the classes that were moved online this year. This will affect students in the long run, and we need to start thinking what will be best for the students.
Thank you, girls. That sounds like something that we need to take a serious look at, especially with our Morrison Scholarship and with the math and sciences that our students need, so.
If I may, it's exactly what I mentioned last week at the workshop. As I stated, if I wanted my daughter to be online, I'd put her in a charter school. I'm opposed to charter schools, but she doesn't learn behind a computer. She learns with an instructor in front of her. And I think our math department needs addressed, and we need to hire some math teachers. I'll go on public record saying that.
I have to agree if we're down to 2.5 math teachers, so.
And the way our math scores are presented, that's pretty sad commentary from us as a board. Allow it.
Any other comments? All right, we'll move forward. Just for information, as part of the National Fire Safety Week, Mount Union Kistler Elementary will be holding its annual Mount Union Kistler Fire Safety Program on October 9th with participants from the Newton Wayne, Mount Union Ambulance, and Pennsylvania State Police. Board meetings for October, our workshop will be Monday, October the 14th. The regular board meeting will be October the 21st, being held here in the library. We'll move on to our administrators and superintendent reports. Kristen, let's start with you.
Sure. On Friday, September 6th, I attended a free half-day training in Lewistown, PA on current drug trends in the area. We discussed the warning signs and the process for reversing an overdose. And this training was offered by the Savage Sisters Recovery Center. On Monday, September 9th, Christian and I presented scores for the Mount Union area school district students in grades 3 through 8 on PSSA and 7, 8 through 12, 11th grade. 12th, if you counted our announcements on Keystones at winter time. Supporting our students, we highlighted the interventions and supports that our teachers are implementing to help assist our students and their needs. On Wednesday, September 11th, Christian and I attended the monthly Curriculum Advisory Council. This meeting was in Huntington Area School District. September 18th, which is yet to come, Mrs. Hope Holm and myself, meeting virtually with representatives from Patan and TIU 11 to discuss ThirdQuest and the WordGen program that we've implemented at the junior high positions. And then, let's see, Christian McClure and I are meeting with our new teachers, the new hires, this Thursday, September 19th at 3:15 up here. And the topic this month is the Danielson framework and helping get our teachers on the PA ETEP system. One final note that I added at the very bottom, sorry, correction to, on Monday of last week, we discussed the scores. I just wanted to make sure this was amended in the slideshow, but we have recently learned that Shirley Township Elementary is not a TSI school for 24-25. Alicia Hall at IU 11 confirmed that this was only a one-year designation for that building, and that the slideshow, as I said, has been amended to show that. So if I need to resend it to, our secretary or Dr. Smith, I certainly can. So the board has an opportunity to see those changes within the slideshow. But other than that, I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that correction. It is only our junior high and senior high scores that are currently in TSI this school year.
Oh,
Well, the first month of school has gone pretty seamlessly so far. On August 23rd, I had class meetings with the junior high to go over expectations for behavior and some rules for the junior high. We had open house on the 27th. We had a really, really good turnout. The halls were probably the fullest I've seen them since I've been here. So that was nice to see. We've been having weekly, at least weekly PBIS meetings, the core team and student teams. Have a faculty meeting planned to go over PBIS related information on September 23rd. I've been out in the halls and classrooms, walkthroughs and formal observations are underway at the junior high, and SPMs are being submitted. I've been working with Mrs. Michelle Shields from the Parent Involvement Committee to come up with ideas for end of the year field trips, and we have the picnic at the junior high planned for October 2nd from 3 to 4:30. Teachers are giving the CDTs and the initial assessments for spring math. As of this evening, 19 of the 22 classes have been completely screened and data has been entered. Julie Brown was here to assess for the implementation of spring math in the 6th grade hall and will be back on site on Friday night, September 20th. The SSO is here. He's been visible. We're thankful that he's here. Mrs. Hafner and Ms. Mosser have been working on the scheduling for next school year already. So that's it for my building.
Dr. Thomas?
Definitely hit the ground running. We've had multiple meetings so far this year, IEP, GIEP, ESL, talked with different school districts about students who are coming here in foster care, as well as addressing students who are suffering homelessness. I've too been out in the buildings quite a lot. I've had an opportunity to observe a lot of the new reading programs that we're utilizing. Keep in mind that all of those new programs that Patton has purchased and that we're able to use in the district are highly supported by the science of reading. Science of reading is a body of research that spans over 100 years. And it consists of explicit and systematic instruction, a heavy look at phonological awareness, and also works to connect conceptually connected text and rich vocabulary. And what I've observed, I know Mr. Kreitzer had commented last Monday, questioning whether or not programs were being implemented with fidelity. I've had the opportunity to observe Third Quest, Parallel Universe, and Phonics for Reading, and I am confident that the staff that I've seen implement the program are doing so with fidelity. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Riegelbaum?
Good evening. I wanted to clarify too that Cherry Township was on a 1-year designated TSI plan last year. And so this year I did still fill out a school plan that was required. And I just wanted to explain our new school plans and what we're doing, because we still need to improve scores. You saw the numbers last week, so we still need to improve them. And the difference of what we're doing this year compared to last year, every classroom is being provided an intervention to each individual needs, to top to bottom. So it's not just the low score kids. We're working with the top kids as well. We're providing small group work, and that includes the phonics for reading, the rewards and parallel universe of what we're using in the building. And what I've seen so far, because I too have been out in the rooms, and they are working really hard to make sure this is all happening, from the regular ed to the learning support to the title people. Everybody's doing their job. Every classroom also is being provided a class-wide intervention. It's a partner reading program, and the students work with each other. They read to each other. That's something else to it. It overcomes fear. It shows that we each have our own problems or promises that they're working together to fix. And we're also improving on small group math, because I guarantee that'll be our next area that we're gonna really push next year at. We had a bus evacuation drill today, and it went really smooth, and I was hoping one of the bus drivers was here tonight, because I did have a question. Christian and I were partners for ours, and it went pretty smoothly, but the first two kids to get off the bus, sometimes the senior high kids don't want me to touch you, you know? So, but we told them, still grab a hold of their hand, grab a hold of their shoulder, make sure they're not falling down. But it went really smooth, and the little kids, they, you know, just followed suit, and everybody did their job. Walkthroughs, like I said earlier, I am doing a lot of those right now. Trying to get through and make sure I've been working and getting in with all the new teachers in our building, because we have 3 brand new teachers, and At their interviews, they're holding true to what they said in their interviews. They actually are and know what they say they are doing. We started this year with placement testing. The IU and Patton suggested that we do placement testing to get the kids according to the right needs right out of the gate. And then they suggested we do our Acadians data 3 times a year, beginning, middle, and end. And we're starting that next week to assure what we're doing. We have the right kids in the right placements. A grant approved, we have 4 teachers in our elementary program, 2 at Kistler, 2 at my building, that are, it was a grant, and Dawn Lynn suggested we apply, you know, maybe we'll get it, maybe we don't, but we did get it, so those ladies are all going, and it's for the, program called Mind Math. It's a fluency program for math, so I'm pretty excited for them to get to do something that's, you know, there's something they've been waiting to get training on, and math is going to be our next area of need. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Christian?
As Mrs. Rickabaugh said, within the first 2 weeks of school, placement tests for reading interventions were administered by intervention teachers to qualifying students at both Kistler and Shirley Township. At Kistler, placement tests were given for ECRI and Tier 3 intensification. At Shirley Township, phonics for reading, rewards, and parallel universe placement tests were administered. We used last spring's Acadians reading data to figure out who the qualifying students were who should be tested. We then used the data from the placement test and had meetings with Karen Brady from Patton to organize reading intervention groups with Title and learning support teachers. As I mentioned in the workshop from last week, with some creative scheduling, we are now servicing most, if not all, of the students who scored red and yellow on the Acadians reading test last spring. I think we're all very excited about that. On August 28th, we had a successful open house at Kistler Elementary, followed by an equally successful open house at Shirley Township on August 29th. Next Monday, as Mrs. Rickabaugh said, September 23rd, we start Acadians benchmark testing at both Kistler and Shirley Township, where all students will take the reading benchmark test. Math benchmark testing has already been completed this year using Spring Math.
Casey?
I am settling in nicely. I'm working on updating all the contacts with vendors, the banks. I submitted the SHARS report, August claims for the cafeteria, direct certification. I scheduled the auditors to come in. They'll be in the end of September, beginning of October. I'm working on gathering the list of items that they need. And Dr. Smith and I are working to close out ESSER 3. That's due at the end of the month.
Thank you. Dawn?
Status on our cyber charter, we're currently sitting at 162. That is 18 more than last month, 1 less than where we were at the end of last school year. We've had several new families move in. We've had several families move out. There are some questions about where students are actually residing, as far as should they really be on Mount Union rolls. Mrs. Brown and I were talking about what is the district going to do in that scenario. Commonwealth Charter continues to be the popular one with 62 students. That's 9 more than last month. The buildings stand at 17 at Kistler. That's 4 more from last month. 14 at Shirley. That's +1. 38 at the junior high +4. 93 at the senior high +9. As far as our online program, we're currently running 157 unduplicated students, 8 full-time, 8 hybrid. I have 10 students off campus. We're looking at 731 online courses this year. That's an increase of 143 over the end of the year total last year. We currently have 466 active online high school courses. There are 36 online college level courses running. We have 97 students currently enrolled in ACE courses. That is a tentative number. Our ACE enrollment runs through September. So I'm working with, parents and students, to get that application and registration process complete. Letters were sent home last week. We did a post on the Facebook page and also on the website, notifying parents that that they have a student that's enrolled, in a college level course, and they can choose to, pay tuition and therefore earn college credit. So right now we have 33 degree students in program, grades 9 through 12. There are an additional 36 students, taking college level courses. Now, parents may choose or may not choose to, pay tuition on those scenarios. I want to sort of jump back to, a legislative update, pertaining to cyber charter and funding. The state and the budget did pass a $100 or $100 million reimbursement, that's allocated for district cyber charter enrollments. That is, the goal is to ease some of the financial burden on districts. For the 24-25 fiscal year, a proportion of amount of that 100 million, will be sort of given out to districts. Right now, we're not sure how much of that will actually come back to Mount Union. Effective January 1st, there will be a new calculation for the special ed rate. And as that appears, it'll be the lesser of the previous formula or the regular education tuition plus the district's total special education expenditure divided by its total special education ADM. I know that's a lot of words. What does it really mean? That does mean that our special ed charter reimbursement rate is going to go down starting January 1st. That's estimated to save the state $70 million. In that legislative update, school districts are going to be required starting November 1st to report their per student amount paid to charter schools. That will be reported to PDE, and PDE is going to post that information publicly. So you'll be able to look and see what districts are paying to cyber charters. And another addition is the cybers and charters are going to be required to do real-time wellness checks. That means they are in person or online wellness checks at least once per week. The second piece of that is attendance compliance. The cyber charters must comply with the attendance officers, home and school visitors, the reporting of expenditures for exceptional students, and the educator effectiveness rating. It's all grouped in on that attendance compliance. What was not enacted was a cap on cyber charter tuition and the Pennsylvania Award for Student Success Voucher Program. Those two things were not enacted in that legislative update for this year. Sorry, I have too many papers. We've been really super busy online. We're experiencing some rather large class sizes. It did require us to expand into a second classroom, both 6th and 7th period. We did have a situation with the teacher shortage. There were 3 courses. Initially, we thought we were going to be able to offer. The vendors did not have PA certified teachers. That was an intro to nursing class, an advanced biology class, and a careers in allied health. We were able to enroll in comparative courses for those student needs, but we are starting to experience a teacher shortage with online. As I mentioned, our dual enrollment application and registration process is currently open. The tuition due dates for Penn Highlands is October 11th. For Mount Aloysius, it's October 30th. Our ACE tuition stands at $69 per credit for both of those institutions. We did put out our dual enrollment scholarship. We advertised that. That application closed yesterday. Final awards on that scholarship are going to be announced on the 30th of this month. We're working with our vendors now to gather PIMS teacher data for our new online vendor teachers, so that we can fulfill the PIMS requirements for reporting teachers, the teachers of record for our online classes, to make sure those teachers are highly qualified. And again, our Penn Highland scheduling, is in process. We're hoping to finalize that in October.
All right, thanks, Dawn. Mr. Mickel?
Okay, I've been working with our core PBIS team, and we are doing a lot of planning. We're rolling out, various measures of the rewards program, trying to get everything up to speed, with videos and, assemblies and rewards and the app itself. So that takes a lot of planning, a lot of meetings, so that takes time. I have been working with the new SSO. He has lots of ideas, and we are working closely together to be able to get all those implemented in some way, shape, or form. Helped out this past Friday with the senior tailgate. There were dozens of seniors that were there, along with going to the football game. It was Hawaiian night. So you might have seen me with my lei on. I don't know. Tickets are for sale for the homecoming this week, starting this week at lunch, for the homecoming that is on September 28th. It's going to be held here in the gym. And if we could, personally, if we could hire a science and math teacher, I think that would be something that's high on my priority list.
All right, thank you. Alicia?
Okay, as a few others had said, we at Kistler had our open house on Wednesday, August 28th. It was very well attended. We had a lot of families and their students come. We also had our food truck night that night, which went extremely well. And I heard a lot of positive compliments. So I believe it was on the agenda this evening to already reserve that date for next year to hold that again. Kistler also held their PBIS kickoff on Friday, August 23rd. We have the students rotate to different stations to explain to them what our expectations are for them being respectful, responsible, and safe in each of our settings at school, bathroom, hallway, cafeteria, the bus, playground, etc. And then we had a brief afternoon assembly to review Trojan tickets, the reward process, as well as play some fun games with students. Also, as Mr. McClure and Mrs. Rickaball said, Patton was also at Kistler doing some beginning of the year placement testing and discussing groups. Currently, my title and special education team are working together to service over 80 students in just kindergarten and first grade that came up being below benchmark where we would like them to be. That does not include kindergarten students that are also being supported. We do or will be doing our fall screener next week. So we'll be looking to see how that data looks with just a few weeks of supporting those students, and are working very hard to get those numbers moving in the right direction. We have held our first faculty meeting, our first SAT meeting, and also our first PBIS core team meeting at Kistler. Picture day was last Friday. We did have a lot of absence due to the issues that were going around social media. So there will be a retake day so that the students can get class photos. We had over 60 students that were absent on Friday just at Kistler. And finally, just a heads up, Kistler teachers will be at the Mount Union McDonald's on Thursday, September 26th. It's our annual McTeacher night. So if any of you are looking for dinner out and are up to McDonald's, we would love to serve you some dinner that evening, and then proceeds, a certain percentage of those of the money earned that night will go back to our PBIS program. So you're welcome.
One request I have, I hope that you bring back to the board once the Acadians testing and some of that is finished, and we know whether we're moving forward, hopefully. So, all right, thank you. Lenny?
Yeah, the only issue I wanted to bring up is our student laptops. The fleet is, the warranty on them is running out at the end of, it's October of next year. So I just want to make you aware of that. I've been in communication with the superintendent about getting, are we replacing them, or are we just gonna roll with what we got? Even our teacher devices are starting to show a little bit of age. And before COVID, I had a cycle where I was buying so many per year, 10 a year, 20 a year, whatever, just to keep that cycle going. And we haven't done that now since before COVID. So, which we did buy some at the time, that grant money, but that's been 4 or 5 years ago.
Thanks for making us aware of that.
I have a question. Do they have like trade-in programs that you can upgrade devices?
We can sell what we have, but they're in pretty bad shape.
I have a question, maybe it's Dawn or somebody over that way, the school climate survey, the survey that the students take, I think it's either twice a year, or once a year. I think I talked about that before, maybe looking at that survey, there's some kind of survey that the kids take.
Are you referring to the pay survey?
It's every other year. Oh, it's every other year, when do they take that?
They took it last fall, so they'll take it again next fall.
I think I talked about or asked, is there any way we can see, I take it you guys look at that, right, you get the results of that?
They would have gone to College Board and whoever gets College Board information.
Do you guys?
I do not.
Do you see it, results, or?
I believe the results go to guidance.
Yeah, and since we lost Candace last year, Caitlin could have applied for it, could ask for it, College Board just has to.
Caitlin will be doing the College Board because we're in the process of setting up AP testing. So she's in the process of working through that.
So there's some of those questions asked, the students, their thoughts and perspective on the school climate overall, or I forget what that is. So somebody, the guidance sees that and then they can relay that information to you, Dawn. And, you know, in terms of trying to keep our kids here, you know, looking at those results, I don't know if that'd be helpful or not. I don't know specific questions are asked, but kind of looking at those results and then game plan from there. And I thought I asked at one point if I could get, if we as a board or myself, I'd like to see, I don't know if the access is possible and we can kind of see that and see, you know.
I can't even get access, we'd have to go through the.
Yeah, I have the page book that you get, it's pretty thick,
Okay.
that I
Give
can
them a
share.
little summary or results or something, so I wouldn't mind. seeing that.
Yeah, it-
Like, maybe somebody had it on the radar that.
It doesn't do every grade, it only
Okay.
does grades 3, 8, 11, it does certain grades.
Okay.
And is that what you're talking about?
I think it's a survey that I.
They talk about drug use,
Smoking.
you know, climate's part of that.
Okay, there's some school climate,
Yeah.
so I'd be
And
curious.
I gave access to the administrative team, I think it was just last week, I got who, Chad.
I thought I asked at one point about getting access, but somebody said they were in group, I just didn't hear anything after that, so.
That information is generally reviewed during the SAP meetings as well. And we have our mental health and drug and alcohol counselors available as well.
Thanks.
Dr. Smith? I think they covered everything, pretty much, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, can I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.